Is this automatically live?
You're live.
Live 100% of the time.
Okay. Then I would like to go ahead and call to order the meeting of the Nevada Board of Wildlife Commissioners for Friday, June 22nd, 2012. Why don't we go ahead and have Commissioner Strom lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Suzanne, will you give us a roll call of the commission, please?
Chairman McBeath.
Here.
Commissioner Ross.
Here.
Commissioner Drew.
Here.
Commissioner Howell.
Here.
Commissioner McBeath.
Here.
Commissioner Morai.
Here.
Commissioner Rain.
Here.
Commissioner Trump.
Here.
And Commissioner Wallace.
Here.
Okay, everybody's here. Then why don't we go ahead and have a roll call of the county advisory boards. Just go ahead and stand up in order and let us know you're here.
Paul Dixon, Clark County.
Rex Flowers, Washoe County.
Gil Young, Carson.
Dane Bradfield, Lincoln.
Joe Krim, Persian.
Jeff Janae, Lyon.
Bill Meyer, Lyon.
Tom Barnes, Elko. Gustafson, Mineral County.
Okay, I imagine we'll have some more tomorrow. Okay, moving on to agenda item number 2, approval of the agenda. The commission may review the agenda and may take action to approve the agenda. The commission may approve items, may remove items from the agenda, combine items for consideration, and take items out of order. Did everybody have a chance to take a look at the agenda, and are there any questions, comments on the agenda? Okay, it's a packed agenda. I'm going to be doing my best to move us along as quickly as we can. I don't know where we're going to end up and how long it's going to take on some of these agenda items, so I am going to be a Nazi when it comes to the agenda. Anyway, I'm looking for a motion.
Chairman, I'd move to approve our agenda.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion to second. Actually, this is a action item, so I guess I should take it out to the public before we do any vote. Any comments on the agenda from the public? Okay, seeing none, I do have a motion and a second on the agenda for approval. Any further comments, questions? Seeing none, I'll go ahead and call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passes. Moving on to agenda item number 3, member items, announcements, and correspondence. Commissioners may present emergent items. No action may be taken by the commission. Any item requiring commission action may be scheduled on a future commission agenda. The commission will review and may discuss correspondence sent or received by the commission since the last regular meeting and may provide copies for the exhibit file. Commissioners may provide hard copies of their correspondence for the written record. Correspondence sent or received by Secretary Mayer will also be discussed. Okay, member items. Anybody have anything they want to talk about? Commissioner Rain.
Yeah, I've got a couple things that I got in the way of correspondence. One showed up, I think I saw it when I got back from the last commission meeting, was a letter from Cliven D. Bundy about an official legal notice. It appeared that it must have been sent out to the entire commission. I want to acknowledge that I had received it, and there was some interesting statements in this document. Would ask, do we have a copy of that for the record file, that it was indeed sent to the department? It was sent out in last month. It was dated April 24th, but it was sent out and I got it about the time of the last meeting. I got back, it was in the mail from Cliven Bundy. It said it was a certified mail. It said it was sent certified out to the entire commission and the director of the Department of Wildlife. But anyways, it's interesting, in here a bunch of his items about that the Department of Wildlife has had some input, perhaps not being helpful in his case. Hopefully the commission had a chance to review that, and maybe we'd have that sometime we're down in Vegas. We talked about that a little bit. Also, well, I guess you're probably going to talk about the open meeting law?
Actually, we're in the process of dealing with it, and so if you want to mention it, you go right ahead.
We'll deal with it and bring it up some later date?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll bring that up at a later date. Couple things, since we're here in Elko, unfortunately, I kind of wish there was a couple items on the agenda. I wish we were talking a little bit about some of the items I'd like to hear more about from Elko residents' input. And, I've been fairly outspoken in stating that I didn't think that the doe seasons were a good idea. They almost exclusively affect Elko hunters, the deer in the Elko herds. I would like to hear from the Elko public about that. I wish that was on our agenda. Hey, I've come out, last year the commission eliminated the doe seasons. This year the seasons are back in full force. And I hope that you find it as ironic as I do that we are increasing our cow tags to decrease the elk population or stabilize it, and we're increasing our doe tags to increase the deer population. Some interesting arguments out there. You can't have it both ways, and I'd like to hear from the Elko area people what they think about that particular idea. I came out in the last couple meetings and talked about some predictions. I'm thinking, that these dramatic increases in deer tags are not going to be good for Elko. That's my perception, what I've been seeing. I'd like to hear from the Elko people what they think about that. It's a good idea to be, jacking these tags up to the amounts they are. Some of the things I'd like to hear, and we do have a chance for public comment on that both days. Hopefully we can get into a little bit of that. Unfortunately, it's not on the agenda today. But
Okay. Commissioner Schrum.
All right, Mr. Chairman, let's start the morning off with a letter from the irrepressible Dr. Moldy. I still remember the carnage caused by Endow years ago when it destroyed beaver dams on the Harrison Pass Road, leading to erosion, lowered water tables, invasive species moving in along the road, and all the rest. Losing beautiful ponds, places for birds and critters to get water, and a place where I used to camp at night, hear the slap of beavers' tails on the water's surface. Why Nevada, the driest state around, doesn't wise up and follow Idaho's lead is a mystery to me. And why trappers should be allowed to go around trapping beavers willy-nilly and jeopardizing water capture and storage in places where we want it is nuts. Thank you, Dr. Moldy. And I have a letter here from Dr. Gerald Lent, dated May the 30th, and says, in response to the article on May 12th, this is a letter to the editor of the Elko Daily Free Press. In response to the article on May 15th, 2012, majority of Wildlife Advisory Board member resigns. I agree they should resign as they do not represent Elko County residents regarding mule deer and doe seasons. The action taken by Endow this year and supported by Elko County Advisory Board to manage wildlife members of increasing the deer herd quotas by 99.6% to include doe hunting is ludicrous, since the deer herd by Endow's flawed numbers only increased by 2%. Endow's deer model is grossly flawed, and we're overkilling our deer herds. Their deer population model has no sense behind it, has never been audited. Their population model needs to be audited immediately by an outstanding population model expert. Unless we do this, our deer herds will be lost. Sincerely, Dr. Gerald Lentz. And then I have and this is from a James Mike Laughlin from Lamoille, Nevada. I read with interest Ken Wellington's childish and unprofessional letter to the Elko Free Press, a large population of which I would guess was written by Endow using their unsubstantiated pseudoscience, berating Pat Laughlin, Cecil Freddy, and Dr. Lent. They can speak for themselves. Your last paragraph set a challenge. Be that does not mean you hand off the important technical decision to a select few that can hardly spell wildlife management. As for me, below are my wildlife credentials relating to 76 years going down the road. What are your wildlife credentials? Thank you for seeing the light, resigning from Elko CAB. As was said in the article announcing your resignation, you fought with the previous State Board of Wildlife Commissioners and do not agree with the majority of sportsmen in Elko County that oppose the 212 Elko County doe hunt. James Mike Laughlin, Lamoille, Nevada. Bachelor of Science degree, Wildlife Biology, Arizona State University, Tempe, Arizona. Retired Supervisory Wildlife Biologist, Animal Damage Control, U.S. Department of Agriculture, and U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. 31 years working in 9 western states, Mexico, Providence of Canada, including 9 years in Nevada as Assistant State Supervisor of Animal Damage Control, and professional big game guide and outfitter in Colorado for 17 years. And I also have another letter from Dr. Moldy, but I think we'll get into that when we get into trapping on the bobcats. I think he has more information for us and graphs. Is that correct? Okay, thank you.
Anybody else, any other commissioners have any member items they'd like to discuss?
Okay, I just have one. A good friend of mine sent me an email that I believe it was 2 days before the draw, indicating that there's some traffic on the Monster Muley's website, or actually it was the day of the draw, 2 days before the draw was going to be publicized, indicating that certain members of the public were somehow able to determine whether they had been drawn. And so I forwarded that on to Don Sefton, and within a matter of hours, system consultants had the issue identified and rectified and stopped. Basically got the website straightened out to where individuals could not tell if they had been drawn or not. So anyway, we did send an email out that had that disclosed that, and I believe Don is going to be speaking to that when he does his report at a subsequent commission meeting. So we'll get more detail on that. But anyway, a very quick fix to that issue. Okay, that's it for me. Anybody else? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move on. Agenda item number 4, County Advisory Boards to manage wildlife member items. Informational, CAB members may present emergent items. No action may be taken by the commission. Any item requiring commission action will be scheduled on a future commission agenda. Any CAB? Gil, come on up.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. For the record, Gil Yannick, Carson Advisory Board. We had a very interesting CAB meeting this past Monday. We were able to get a code enforcement officer from the city of Carson City. And we talked primarily about bear nuisance issues and the feeding of wild animals. The current edition of the municipal code affecting the feeding of wild animals is pretty meager. It, addresses raccoons and stuff like that, and skunks, but doesn't say anything at all really about big game, wild animals, deer, bear, and other species. So we had, in preparation for that meeting, I had met with our local area game warden, Jake Kramer, and we talked about the issues and what the department has been doing, and hopefully it would be nice if we had a state, NRS that kind of covered this, that they could report to or refer to when somebody finds that they're doing something causing what we call an attractive nuisance. So we supplied the city with some recommendations as to what were attractive nuisances and some suggested penalties, with the first offense primarily being education. Some people are not aware of what they were doing causing a problem. Other people did it purposely, and of course those are the ones that we want to get in their face and tell them that there is a second offense, could be a citation. So if this goes forward, we plan to do the same thing we did when we instituted the bear nuisance ordinance in Carson City, is to hold several town hall meetings in several parts of the city and gather, members of the public can come in, ask questions. We'll let them know how they're going to be involved in this and how they'll be affected, and hopefully it'll be generally better accepted once they understand why we're doing this and what we're trying to accomplish. The second interesting part of our agenda was that we had the project manager from the BLM Carson City office attend our meeting and talking about the revision to the RMP that they're involved with. And we indicated that the Carson CAB would like to be an integral part of that, particularly when it comes to horses and the sage-grouse issues. And so they agreed to, consult with us and welcomed us to come to any and all of their meetings. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks. Come on up, Dr. Dixon.
Paul Dixon for the record, Clark County. I got a lot of positive feedback on our meeting we had this past Tuesday, and one of the extremely positive things that came from that meeting is that Karen Vargas from the Department of Wildlife came down and gave a PowerPoint presentation on the invasive species regulation and what's going on with that, and with Lake Mead and us being kind of the major source for quagga mussels and spread around the states and the worries of the other states. It was a very good public educational thing, and when I say public educational, since a few things have hit the fan as far as issues with trapping and bears and horses, my average attendance now is around 50 people, members of the public that attend my meeting. And so we're getting out to a broad diversity of both the hunting and fishing groups. But Karen's presentation was extremely well received, and I wanted to pass that back through publicly to the Department of Wildlife. That was extremely helpful having that occur. Second thing is that one of the members of my board that was brought on here, he's been, this is third or fourth meeting, Mike Pergola. He's a fisherman and has been concerned about the Lake Mead hatchery and fisheries issues at Lake Mead and the local lakes in southern Nevada. He's been communicating with somebody from the Southern Nevada Water Authority, and they're now at a position where they would like to speak to some people from the Department of Wildlife about hookups. They believe that there's now a cost-effective way to do that. Details were not given, but Mike Pergola, I can get you contact information and put you in contact with him and the guy who was talking to at Southern Nevada Water Authority. But it looks promising to get treated water to go into that hatchery, which is, I don't know what the number is, 12 or 16 or somewhere in there, but a lot of millions of dollar hatchery down that we could potentially bring back to use for use across the state, not just Lake Mead. Thank you.
Thanks. Any other cabs? Okay. Seeing none, we'll